What's worse than a giant panther in the dark? A giant panther that's never where you think it is. Today on Monster Mechanics, we're talking about one of the most iconic ambush predators in Dungeons & Dragons, the Displacer Beast. These creatures are terrifying, elusive, and deadly, making them one of the best mid-tier threats you can throw at your players. Today, we'll break down their lore, their stat block, and most importantly, how to use them in combat so your players walk away shaken. Let's get into it. First things first, Displacer Beasts aren't just big cats with tentacles. They're extra-dimensional killing machines that thrive on deception. Originally bred by the Unseelie Court in the Feywild as hunting beasts, they escaped, and now they roam the material plane, stalking prey for both sport and sustenance. Unlike your standard jungle predator, these creatures actively enjoy toying with their prey, using their illusion-based abilities to drive fear into the hearts of those who cross their path. They're often found in deep forests, caves, or shadowed valleys where their natural abilities give them the upper hand. And if they're in a pack, your players are in for a bad time. Alright, let's break down what makes the Displacer Beast tick. They've got a solid AC of 13 and a respectable 85 hit points. Tanky enough to take some hits, but not so much that they become a slog. Their real strength, though, is their speed and deception. With a movement speed of 40 feet, they can control the battlefield, repositioning constantly. But the real kicker is their displacement ability. Attacks against them have disadvantage unless they get hit, meaning if they can keep moving and avoid damage, they can remain a nightmare to pin down. They also get multi-attack, slashing enemies with their two tentacles for solid damage, and with a +6 to hit, they're going to land more often than not. And don't forget their dark vision. These beasts don't need light to hunt you. Now let's talk tactics. Displacement is the heart of the Displacer Beast strategy, obviously. It forces your players to either waste their attacks or find creative ways to deal with them. Spells like Fairy Fire or Magic Missile can bypass this, but if your players don't have these tools, this thing will be an absolute menace. Their speed is another huge factor. At 40 feet per turn, they should never stay in one spot unless it's safe. Hit and run tactics are the name of their game, and if they're in a larger area, use that speed to your advantage. And let's not forget that Displacer Beasts are incredibly smart. They're not mindless monsters. They learn, adapt, and they will retreat if needed. Alright, Dungeon Masters, here's how you make these beasts terrifying. First, never let them fight fair. These creatures are ambush predators. Use darkness, fog, and tight corridors to create uncertainty. Have them strike from the shadows, reposition, and vanish before players can retaliate effectively. Second, use their pack mentality. A single Displacer Beast is scary, but a small hunting pack? That's lethal. Have one beast engage the party while the others flank or harass the back line. They're intelligent enough to focus the weaker targets like spellcasters. Third, open fields are bad for them since players can just dogpile them. Instead, use dense forests, broken ruins, or cave networks to keep the environment on their side. Force players to think about how they engage. However, there are going to be a few things that you're going to want to avoid as well. First of all, the obvious, don't forget displacement. If your Displacer Beast gets hit, its ability turns off until its next turn. Don't just let players roll disadvantage every round if they're actually landing hits. Also, don't keep them all in one place. These creatures need to move to stay alive. If you plant them in a corner and they just slug it out, they lose half of their effectiveness. So let's talk about a few cool encounter ideas for Displacement Beasts. First one I'm thinking of is in a place like a haunted wood. A group of Displacer Beasts can stalk the party through the cursed forest. The only clues to their presence? Flickering images in the darkness. Let the players feel hunted before the beasts actually strike. Another one could be an arena of shadows, where a villain pits the players against the Displacer Beast in an enclosed gladiatorial arena with flickering torches. The beast uses the shadows to its advantage, striking and vanishing into the darkness. Or even try something like the Feywild's hunting grounds. players enter the Feywild and stumble into an unseelie noble's hunting preserve, where they're the prey, and a pack of trained Displacer Beasts are on their trail. To showcase some of what we've learned today, we're going to do the first couple rounds of combat here on a tabletop grid. In this case, we're using Tabletop Simulator to do this. So on this first round of combat, what we're wanting to do is to position the Displacer Beasts in an area of cover that's being displayed. This is kind of going to be our forested area on either side of a road that our party is on. So you're going to want them on the edges over here. They're going to be striking from an ambush position like we've gone over already. They're ideally going to be going for one of the weakest members of the party. In this case, it is going to be Benson the Wizard here in the back. So what these Displacer Beasts are going to try to do is that they will be hopefully still in cover over here where they haven't been sighted by the party yet. Then they are going to move over to the side here. We're going to use this Displacer piece to do that, who's still in this forested area, still stealthed. And then they are going to go ahead and attack Benson here, Benson the Wizard, with its tentacles. It can do this from 10 feet away, and then it's going to retreat back into the forest over here where it has this cover. It's going to be using its high speed to reposition and then force the melee combatants, who are going to be Zulmoth and Lexa, the rogue here, to hopefully chase it into the forest, or maybe they're getting their guard up. Either way, on this Displacer Beast's turn, it's going to go after Ghidorah, our sorcerer here, or Benson again from this covered area. This is going to cause quite a bit of panic for the party, and that's going to be the goal here. The players are going to be struggling to land hits here due to displacement from the Displacer Beasts, and you're going to want to press the advantage by keeping the beast mobile, striking at multiple opponents to spread the party's focus. If the players manage to land a hit and cancel the displacement effect, you should be bringing these beasts immediately back into an area of cover way deep in this forest to avoid attacks until the ability has the opportunity to reset. And within a few rounds, if the fight is going in the Displacer Beast's favor, it should begin isolating the weaker targets, striking and moving to areas where the players can't easily gang up on it. If the battle's turning against the beast, it should look for an opportunity to disengage and then run away deeper into the forest, living to hunt another day rather than fighting to the death. And to summarize everything that we've gone over, we are going to want to keep our Displacer Beasts moving, never let them stand still. You're going to want to target vulnerable foes first. They're smart enough to be able to spot that and go after them. As a Dungeon Master, you're going to want to use terrain and darkness to maximize the Displacer Beast's illusionary advantage. You're going to want to pair them with creatures that create confusion and fear. This works really well with multiple Displacer Beasts. And don't forget its avoidance ability against spells and effects. That's not the primary thing here with Displacer Beasts, but it is a huge buff that you should be taking advantage of. And that's how you run a Displacer Beast, like a true Nightmare Predator. If you found this guide helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more monster tactics. And tell me, have you ever thrown a Displacer Beast at your players? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, happy DMing and keep your players on their toes.